Intelligence isn't what you think it is, and most people don't have it. You think intelligence is about IQ, about grades, about solving puzzles, or knowing facts. That's not intelligence, that's knowledge, that's memory, that's pattern recognition. Useful, but not intelligence. Real intelligence is something darker, something most people never develop, something that separates those who control their lives from those who get controlled by life. 500 years ago, Machiavelli watched people at every level of intelligence. The stupid who got crushed, the average who got used, the smart who got manipulated, and the truly intelligent who controlled everything while appearing to do nothing. He realized intelligence isn't one thing, it's levels. And each level sees a completely different world than the level below it. Most people never escape the bottom levels. They think they're smart while being predictable and controlled. Today, I'm breaking down every level of intelligence from Machiavelli's perspective. Not academic intelligence, practical intelligence, the kind that builds power or leaves you powerless, the kind that sees how the game is played or makes you a piece being played. This will be uncomfortable, because you'll realize which level you're actually on, and most people aren't as high as they think. If you want to understand intelligence beyond IQ and grades, smash that subscribe button right now. This channel doesn't measure intelligence by test scores, we measure it by results. Before we start, drop this in the comments. I seek practical intelligence, not just knowledge. Let's begin at the bottom. Level 1, the unconscious. These people operate on pure instinct and emotion. No strategy, no thinking ahead, just immediate reaction to immediate circumstances. They do what feels good now without considering consequences. They repeat mistakes because they never analyze why things went wrong. They blame external factors for everything. Bad luck, other people, the system, never themselves. Because self-reflection requires intelligence they don't have. Unconscious people are everywhere. They're perpetually broke because they spend money on impulse. They're always in drama because they react emotionally to everything. They're stuck in the same patterns for decades because they never examine those patterns. Life happens to them. They respond. That's it. No learning, no growth, no awareness. Just stimulus and response like animals. These people are easy to control, predictable reactions, no deeper thinking. Say the right thing, get the expected response every time. They think they're making choices. They're not. They're following programmed reactions. Anger triggers aggression. Fear triggers retreat. Desire triggers pursuit. Same triggers, same responses, forever. This is why they never escape their circumstances. They're not playing the game, they're being played by their own programming. Machiavelli once said, "The wise man does at once what the fool does finally." Unconscious people don't even do it finally. They never learn, they keep touching the hot stove and blaming the stove. They're not evil. They're not stupid necessarily, they're just completely unconscious. And unconscious people get destroyed by life because they never see patterns until patterns have already destroyed them. Drop this in the comments. I operate consciously, not reactively. Level 2, the aware but powerless. These people have figured out they're being controlled. They see the patterns, they recognize the manipulation, they understand the game exists, but they don't know how to play it, so they become bitter, cynical. They see the cage but can't escape it. This is actually worse than level 1, because awareness without power creates suffering. These are the people who complain about society, about the system, about how unfair everything is. They're right, it is unfair, they see it clearly, but seeing it doesn't help them. They're aware they're being manipulated but don't know how to stop it. They're aware they're trapped but don't know how to escape. They've graduated from unconscious to conscious, but consciousness without capability is just torture. These people are dangerous to themselves. Their awareness creates anger. Their powerlessness creates depression. They know they should do something, but they don't know what to do, so they do nothing while suffering from the awareness that they're doing nothing. Or worse, they lash out in unproductive ways, complaining, protesting, blaming, all symptoms of awareness without strategy. This level is a trap. Many people stay here forever, aware enough to see problems, not intelligent enough to solve them. They become perpetual victims with elevated consciousness. They think awareness alone is intelligence. It's not. Awareness is seeing the game. Intelligence is playing the game. They see it, they just don't know how to play it. So they sit on the sidelines criticizing players while never entering the game themselves. The jump from level 2 to level 3 requires something painful. You must accept that awareness doesn't matter without action. You must stop complaining about the game and start learning the rules. You must trade righteousness for effectiveness. Most people can't make that trade. They'd rather be morally right and powerless than strategically effective and powerful. This keeps them at level 2 forever. Machiavelli once said, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." Level 2 people want to be loved for being right. Level 3 people want to be effective regardless of being loved. That's the difference. That's the jump most people never make. Drop this in the comments. I choose effectiveness over righteousness. Level 3, the strategic. These people understand the game and play it competently. They've moved beyond complaining to competing. They see the rules. They follow the rules that serve them. They break the rules that don't. They think several moves ahead. They understand cause and effect. They build strategy based on probable outcomes. This is where actual intelligence starts. Strategic people succeed in life because they play the game consciously. They're not smarter than level 2. They're just willing to play instead of complain. They've accepted that life is competitive, that rules exist, that winning requires strategy. So they strategize, they calculate, they position, they execute, and they win more than they lose because they're actually playing. These people build careers, build businesses, build wealth, build power, not through luck, through strategy. They identify what they want, they analyze the path to get it, they remove obstacles, they exploit opportunities. They adjust when circumstances change. They're conscious players in a game unconscious people don't even know exists. This gives them massive advantage. But level 3 has limits. Strategic people are predictable to those above them. They follow logical patterns. They make optimal moves. They do what smart people do. This makes them easy to manipulate by people at higher levels, because they're playing the obvious game, making the obvious moves, following the obvious strategies. Anyone at level 4 or above can predict them, can counter them, can control them without them knowing. Level 3 thinks they're at the top of intelligence. They're not. They're at the beginning of practical intelligence. They've escaped victim mentality. They've learned to compete. They win at standard games. But they don't realize there are higher games being played above their level. Games where their strategic intelligence is being used against them. They're players. But they're still pieces in larger games they don't see. Machiavelli operated above level 3. He saw strategic people as useful, but predictable, easy to position, easy to manipulate through their own logic. Strategic intelligence is power, but it's not the highest power. There are levels above that see strategic people the way strategic people see unconscious people, as pieces to be moved. Drop this in the comments. I play strategically but seek higher levels. Level 4, the adaptive. These people don't just play the game, they change the game. They don't follow strategies. They create strategies that others follow. They don't react to circumstances, they shape circumstances. This is where intelligence becomes dangerous. Because adaptive people can't be predicted using logic. They can't be countered using strategy. They change the rules mid-game. Adaptive intelligence means you're not locked into any pattern, you're not committed to any strategy. You're fluid, flexible, unpredictable. Strategic people follow optimal paths. Adaptive people create new paths when old ones don't work. Strategic people use proven methods. Adaptive people invent methods when proven ones fail. This makes them nearly impossible to compete against. Because they don't play by your rules, they make new rules. These people win in chaos. Strategic people need stable environments to apply strategy. Adaptive people thrive in unstable environments because they adapt faster than others can strategize. Markets crash, they adapt. Industries die, they pivot. Rules change, they exploit new rules faster than others figure them out. They're not smarter, they're more flexible. And flexibility at high speed is devastating competitive advantage. Adaptive people also understand something strategic people don't. Every strategy has counters. Every pattern has exploits. If you're predictable, you're beatable. So they refuse to be predictable. They change styles, they switch approaches, they fake directions. They're chaos to compete against because you can't prepare for someone who refuses to be consistent. By the time you've figured out their pattern, they've already changed it. But level 4 still has limits. Adaptive people are playing their own game, focused on their own success. This makes them vulnerable to people at level 5. Because level 5 isn't playing individual games, they're playing social games, relationship games, power games that require multiple people. Adaptive people can beat any individual, but they struggle against systems, against groups, against power structures. Their individual adaptability hits a ceiling when facing collective power. Machiavelli himself was level 4 or above. He adapted to political chaos better than anyone, but even he got beaten by systems bigger than individual intelligence. The Medici returned. He lost power. Individual adaptability couldn't overcome collective power. This taught him the next level, the level most people never reach. Drop this in the comments. I adapt faster than others strategize. Level 5, the systemic. These people don't play the game. They design the game. They don't compete for power within systems. They build systems that generate power. They don't win against individuals. They create environments where winning is automatic. This is true mastery. This is where you stop being a player and become the board. Systemic intelligence means you understand that individual wins don't matter. System design matters. You don't need to be the best if you control the system that defines what best means. You don't need to compete if you set the rules of competition. You don't need to win if you make winning obsolete by changing the game everyone else is playing. This is founder thinking, creator thinking, architect thinking. Look at tech founders. They don't compete in existing markets. They create new markets. They don't play by industry rules. They make new industries with new rules. They don't win the game. They invent games where they start with all advantages. This isn't strategy, this is system design. And system designers beat strategists every time, because strategists are playing the designer's game. Same with political power. True power isn't winning elections. It's controlling the systems that run regardless of who wins elections. Media, finance, education, legal frameworks. Control the systems, elections don't matter. Whoever wins plays by your rules. Uses your infrastructure, depends on your systems. You don't need to be president if you control the systems the president depends on. This is what Machiavelli understood. Individual intelligence matters, but systemic intelligence dominates. Design systems where your goals are built into the structure. Then it doesn't matter who operates the system. The system itself produces outcomes you want. You've encoded your intelligence into infrastructure. Now it runs automatically. You've moved from player to designer, from piece to game master. But even level 5 has a ceiling. Systems can be disrupted, overthrown, replaced. History is full of powerful systems that collapsed. Why? Because they were static systems in dynamic environments. They designed for one set of conditions. Conditions changed. Systems failed. This is where level 6 emerges. The final level. The level Machiavelli glimpsed but perhaps never fully achieved. Drop this in the comments. I design systems, not just win games. Level 6. The meta-adaptive. These people operate beyond systems. They don't design systems. They create conditions for systems to emerge, evolve, and replace themselves. They understand that all systems eventually fail. So they build meta-systems. Systems that generate systems. Processes that adapt processes. Evolution encoded into structure itself. This is the highest intelligence, and almost nobody operates here. Meta-adaptive intelligence means you're not attached to any system. You're not protecting any structure. You've accepted that all structures are temporary. So you build structures that improve themselves, that identify their own weaknesses, that evolve without you. You've removed yourself from the equation entirely. Your intelligence has become self-replicating and self-improving. You're no longer necessary. This sounds impossible. It's not. Look at nature. Evolution is a meta-adaptive system. It creates species. Species fail. Evolution creates new species. No designer needed, no controller required. The system itself generates, tests, and replaces solutions automatically. That's meta-adaptive intelligence encoded into reality itself. The highest level of intelligence is building human systems that work like natural systems. Self-correcting, self-improving, self-replacing. Very few people think at this level. Maybe no one fully operates here. Machiavelli described it in The Prince, but probably didn't achieve it. He understood that all power is temporary. All systems fail. The only lasting intelligence is intelligence that outlives the intelligent. Ideas that propagate, principles that persist, systems that rebuild themselves. This is immortal intelligence, and it's the ultimate level. The irony is this: reaching level 6 means you stop seeking intelligence, because you've built intelligence into everything around you. You don't need to be smart anymore. Your environment is smart, your systems are smart, your infrastructure is intelligent. You've distributed your intelligence so thoroughly that you personally could disappear, and your intelligence continues operating through what you built. That's the highest level. Intelligence that transcends the individual. Machiavelli's works are level 6 achievement. He died centuries ago, but his intelligence persists in ideas, in principles, in how power operates. He encoded his intelligence into concepts that self-propagate. That's meta-adaptive intelligence, creating ideas so useful they spread themselves. Building intelligence that outlives you. That's the final level. Intelligence that achieves immortality through replication. Drop this in the comments. I build intelligence that outlives me. You now understand every level of intelligence from Machiavelli's perspective. Level 1, unconscious reactions. Level 2, aware but powerless. Level 3, strategic thinking. Level 4, adaptive intelligence. Level 5, systemic design. Level 6, meta-adaptive evolution. 6 levels from animal response to immortal intelligence. Most people never escape level 1 or 2. Many reach level 3, few achieve level 4, almost none operate at level 5 or 6. The question is which level you're on, and which level you're willing to work toward. Each level requires painful transitions. From unconscious to aware means admitting you've been controlled. From aware to strategic means accepting the game and playing it. From strategic to adaptive means abandoning fixed patterns. From adaptive to systemic means thinking beyond personal wins. From systemic to meta-adaptive means letting go of control entirely. Most people can't make these transitions. Too painful, too uncomfortable, too contrary to how they want to see themselves. But those who can move up levels gain exponential advantage. The gap between level 1 and 2 is awareness. Between 2 and 3 is capability. Between 3 and 4 is flexibility. Between 4 and 5 is scale. Between 5 and 6 is permanence. Each gap is larger than the last. Someone at level 6 sees someone at level 1 the way you see an insect. Not with contempt. Just recognition that they're operating in a completely different reality. Machiavelli's intelligence lives 500 years after his death. That's level 6. Your intelligence dies with you if you never encode it into systems that outlive you. That's level 5 or below. The question isn't whether you're smart. The question is whether your intelligence will matter after you're gone. Only level 6 achieves that. Everything else is temporary. Everything else dies. Only meta-adaptive intelligence becomes immortal. Do 3 things right now. Smash that like button if you just realized you're not as intelligent as you thought. Subscribe for more frameworks that expose uncomfortable truths. Drop in the comments which level you think you're currently operating at and which level you're working toward. Intelligence isn't about being smart, it's about which level of the game you're playing. Unconscious people don't know there's a game. Aware people see the game but don't play. Strategic people play the game. Adaptive people change the game. Systemic people design the game. Meta-adaptive people make games that create games. 6 levels. Choose which one you want to reach. Then do the painful work to get there. Drop this final affirmation. I seek higher intelligence. I transcend comfortable levels. I build intelligence that outlives me.